Okay, so one of the things I keep forgetting to do is this crafting update. So right now when you craft stuff, it just automatically goes through instantaneously. But, you know, let's set it up to where it has a time requirement. Stop doing that. Something about these autosaves, I don't know why it does that. It's just an Unreal Engine 5 glitch I haven't figured out yet. Generally closing and reopening the engine fixes it. I just haven't done it because I'm being lazy. But, alright, so let's go into our crafting icon. And on the clicked, this is where we're going and just saying craft the item. We got it all set into one function, but what we can do is we can separate this. So right here is where we're doing the check to make sure we have all the items in our inventory to match the recipe. So if the crafting requirement is met, then that's when we're going through and just doing our thing. But what we can do is let's separate this into two separate functions. So I'm going to split this. And right here we will add a return node. And what we want it to output is a boolean that says can craft. And if the requirements are met, we'll set this to true. And if it's not, then it's returning false. So up in our functions, this one is called craft item. Let's rename it to be craft item check. And then create one more called crafting item. Oh, I can't do that. Alright, so let's do craft item. Alright, and then in our crafting item check, we can take all this right here. I'm going to Control C and take it over into the craft item and Control V. Our new craft item will need an input item info. That way it knows what item to craft. We'll feed this in right here. We'll get rid of that. Compile now and see wherever else there might be. That's where they're having other issues, so we will just feed that right there. And that fixes that. Alright, so now back in our other craft item check. Craft item check. This is the craft. Oh, I'm stupid. So back in our crafting, nope, that's the wrong one. Crafting icon right here. We'll add a branch. Now in our player blueprint, in the event graph, we have to do this one in the event graph because this is going to have a delay and fill up. Then we need to have to do it out here because you can't do delays inside functions. So we'll add a variable. Gonna rename that to craft progress. It's gonna be a float. And then we'll duplicate it and call it craft proficiency. Now the craft progress defaults to 0. Craft proficiency, I'm going to default that something low, probably 0.15. This is basically how much craft progress you gain each. You know what I'm going to do? 0.01. We're just starting out. We're lowbie. So I'm going to add a custom event. And I'm going to call it craft in progress. Now it's going to take an input also of the item info to craft. So item to craft. So now over here we can call that function craft in progress. I don't know why it says new parameter. I named it in there. Let me compile that. And then over here that should, yeah, alright. So if true, then we want to craft this item. That's the item we want to feed in right there. Back in the player blueprint. Every time we call this, we want to set the craft progress back to 0. Then we will get it. And we want to add our craft proficiency to it. We will add a delay. No, not the delay yet. We'll add another set. To our craft progress. So we want to set it back to 0 at the beginning. Then we want to find out if it's greater than or equal to, we'll just make it be 1 for now as the fully crafted. Let's add a branch. If it's not greater than or equal to 1, then we want to do our delay there. I'm going to set it to 0.1 for now. And then we will set a custom event. I hate having wires cross over where I can avoid it. Recheck craft progress. And we will feed this right back in right here. We want to make sure it's right here and not over here, otherwise it'll just add to and subtract and just get stuck in a loop. And then once it is greater than or equal to, then we want to craft item. And the item we want to craft will feed in from way over here. You can either promote it to a variable, which would be neater. I'm just going to do it. I'll suck it up and deal with it. Alright. Now we need a way to monitor this, so let's go into our player HUD. Where? Oh, I don't have one open. Alright, so player HUD. And I'm going to add a progress, right there. I'm going to add a progress bar. I'm going to anchor it to the center of the screen. Reset the offsets, 0.5 on the X, and then reposition it up, -300, yeah, that'll work, and then widen it, so let's say 300, 20 on the Y, and I'm just going to leave it that blue color. And that'll be fine. Now this is our craft craft progress bar. That is a variable. And it is default to hidden. Now over in our player blueprint, let's move this a little ways. So when we start our crafting, we want to get our player HUD. If you don't feel like searching for it, but you know exactly what you're looking for, you can just right click and type and you can actually get any variable you need. So what we need is our craft progress bar, and we are going to set the percent to start with is going to be set to 0, And then we want to set its visibility. And we set that it is visible. Like that. It's getting a little messy. Alright, and then over here, after the false, when we've updated it, let's get our HUD ref one more time. Get that progress bar and set its percent. And we'll plug this in right here, right there, and then we'll plug in our craft progress, just like that. And then right here, after we have crafted our item, we want to set its visibility back to hidden so that it comes off our screen, gets out of our way, lets us continue our adventure. Alright, so we're doing our craft item check, running through. Once it can, it says yes, alright, it goes through. Craft in progress. Craft progress is 0 plus 0.01 every 1/10 of a second. This is going to take a long time to craft, but should be working. After your delay, call your recheck craft progress. Otherwise, it'll just do exactly like mine just did. Alright. Yeah, you take a while to craft. There we go. Neat. Alright, so one thing that we also will go over real quick is once they level up their crafting. So once crafting levels up, crafting level goes up, you're learning your recipes. You can update the craft proficiency. So get it, add, and then we'll set it to something new. So it starts off at 0.01. You might want to update that because that took a while to craft something, but we'll add 0.05 to it each time. And I'm going to make it to where it's 0.05 to start. Oh no, 0.05. Yeah, so he's leveling up, she's leveling up, and getting better at crafting. One thing you will want to do is in your crafting icon, on clicked, we want to make sure that they are not currently crafting and not interrupting. So let's add a branch real quick, hook it to the false, we'll back the player reference up, and we will add a boolean. That is B is crafting. Boolean. Compile. Back over here. So we will get is crafting. And if they are not, then we can do our craft check. And if they check comes back positive, and they are crafting. Let's rearrange that a little bit. Then we will set is crafting to true. Then, over in the player blueprint, in the event graph, after they craft their item, then you'll just set that back to false. Just like that. That way you can't go in and just spam the button and cause it to glitch out. So, let me grab a bunch. Wrong button. Now. Yeah. Good deal. Alright, something you can do, if you want each item to have a different crafting difficulty, then you could go into your item info struct and add a crafting difficulty variable. I'll just show you. Let's see. Craft difficulty and make it a float. Now remember when you do this that you'll need to go into everywhere that we have split that struct. Wow, we needed to do this anyway. And rehook everything. I did not realize this was... I mean, granted, this is removing the item, so it doesn't really matter, I don't guess. But everywhere we've split this apart, you're going to have to go through and hook those little wires up. Just like that. Otherwise the item thing will get messed up. But then you can go through each item. So let's say I want the health potion to be... It takes 2 seconds. And the mana potion only takes 1 second. We'll save that real quick. We'll go back into here. Now let's duplicate our craft progress. Call it craft complete. Because since some variables will have, since some of these will have 1, you know, 2, we'll have to do a division. So way over here where we're setting our craft progress to 0, let's back this up. We'll break the item info and set craft complete to our craft difficulty. Then we can minimize that. And with this selected, we can just hide unconnected pins. And then in our, when we're setting the percentage, instead of doing craft progress, we'll do craft progress divided by craft complete. So let me take a look at my item data table and see what the recipe is for green herb and a health potion. Okay. So let's jump in. Full screen for cinematic goodness. Alright, so open my crafting menu. I craft that. It made it about halfway. Oh, because, craft progress greater than or equal to 1. This one will also need to be hooked to your craft progress. Alright, let's check it one more time. I know my videos are a little bit longer because I like to check them like this, but it always points out little issues with it like that. So now we're crafting. crafted that health potion, but good. Alright, now let's check that mana potion. That one crafts quicker. So now you can go through and have all your items be, take longer, take shorter, whatever you want them to do. Just like that. So, alright. Make sure you save everything. Stop doing that. I'm gonna close the engine and reopen it before the next video. But I will see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.